Hi, this is Ty Howard, CEO and Editor-in-Chief of Motivation, the online magazine where you get everything motivation. This week's weekly motivation booster is board your train to success. All aboard! There's a train coming, an iron horse filled with your iron will, and it's coming right over that hill. This train I talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is not the Amtrak train, nor is it the MARC train that runs between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. This train I talk about is the train of attitude, and it lies inside of each and every one of us. They say there are two important days in every human being's life. One is the day you were born, two is the day you were discovered. Why? But why is it that there are not more people today living their why? For two reasons. One, they talk themselves off of their train, or two, they allowed someone else to talk them off their train. How do I know? I was one of those people. I grew up in Baltimore City in a low-income community known as Cherry Hill. And I was about middle school age when I was on the schoolyard diamond with a few of my friends, and we were choosing up a game of baseball. And those of you familiar with the game of baseball, you know you have 9 players out at field and then 9 players up at bat. And what it came down to were the two team choosers choosing between my best friend and me. The first team chooser chose my best friend. The second team chooser looked at me and said, "I'd rather play with 8 than to play with you." I was shocked. I was stunned. So I quickly thought, and I looked at the first team chooser and I said, well, let me come on your team and let my friend go on the second team. Have you ever experienced the mob mentality? Because the first team chooser chimed in and he also said, "I'd rather play with 8 than to play with you." So tears began to well up in my eye. And I backed up. And the tears started to come down my face. And I turned and I started to walk quickly. And then my quick walk turned into a run. And then I started to frantically run home with tears streaming down my face. And when I hit the block that I lived on in my neighborhood, I was running down the sidewalk and out in front of me jumped Mr. Johnson. And Mr. Johnson was the man in our neighborhood, he and his family, that we all looked up to because they had 2 cars and they had a nice family and they took vacations and they did all the things that we idealized in the neighborhood. And he stopped me and he said, "Young man, stop. Why are you running like a chicken with your head cut off?" And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, I had an opportunity to play the game that I love because I dream about becoming a professional baseball player and I want to be like the wizard, Ozzie Smith." Mr. Johnson paused. He gritted his teeth. He got angry. He got upset. Have you ever seen a black man turn red? On that day, I did. He looked at me and he said, "Son, name me 5 professional baseball players that come from this neighborhood. Name me one that made it to the professional league." I couldn't name one. He said, "Son, stop chasing a pipe dream." He said, "Do something that's more realistic. Do something that's safe." He said, "Become a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a politician, a firefighter, a policeman. Do something that's safe." I agreed with Mr. Johnson on that day, and I disagreed with Mr. Johnson on that day. I agreed with Mr. Johnson on that day that if you want to be a firefighter, a policeman, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a teacher, a politician, those are necessary and noble jobs and careers. And if that's your dream, go after it. Do it with all your heart. Do it with all your might. Do it with the will to succeed and the will to win. But I disagreed with Mr. Johnson on that day, because on that day, he stopped my train. He told me to play it safe. He told me to stop believing in me and my dreams. And I climbed out of the conductor's seat of my train, and I kept my head low, and I played it safe through middle school, through high school. And then I joined the United States Navy, and again, I played it safe. Kept my head low, did what everyone told me to do. And one day, I'm sitting on the United States naval vessel, warship, in the middle of the ocean, in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and mail call comes. And I get a letter. And I get a letter from a friend, and I read her letter. And at the end of her letter, she said, Ty, continue believing in yourself. Continue being the conductor of your train, and continue believing in your success. On that day, I picked up my self-image. I picked up my self-esteem. I picked up my belief, and I picked up believing in my dreams. And I boarded the conductor chair of my train once again, and I drove that train through the United States Navy, through corporate America, and now into my own successful motivational speaking business, online magazine, speakers bureau, and consulting services. And I'm writing book after book, and I'm putting out and producing information and things that I hope that will inspire and encourage people everywhere to continue being the conductors of their train, to continue believing in themselves and their dreams. I often wonder, what would Mr. Johnson have told a man who failed twice at business, had a nervous breakdown, and became the president of the United States? What would he have told Abraham Lincoln? And what would he have told a young girl born with polio who had braces on her legs, and she and her family would go to the doctors and they would ask, when would she be able to walk and even run with her friends without the braces? And the doctors would look at her and her family and say, maybe never. But what would he have told Wilma Rudolph? Because the braces did come off, and she ran faster than any woman in the Olympic Games, and she won 3 gold medals. And what would he have told a young man who was in the NBA, and he only stood 5'7", and he entered the slam dunk contest, and everybody laughed at him, but he won it? What would he have told Spud Webb? And what would he have told a young boy whose father looked at him at the age of 2 after he sank his first golf putt, and his father said, you will change this game forever? What would he have told Tiger Woods? And what would he have told a young girl that they called the flying squirrel in the summer 2012 Olympics, who went out with her Olympic gymnastic team, and she was the first African-American to win a gold medal in the individual all-around event? What would he have told Gabby Douglas? And what would he have told you today if you shared your dreams, your goals, your aspirations with him? What would he have told you? He would not have told you what I'm about to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, believe in your dreams. If you've given up on them years ago, pick them back up, dust them off, or create new dreams, new aspirations for yourself. No matter what it takes, no matter how much effort and energy it takes, climb back into the conductor's seat of your train. You have it in you. You just have to believe and believe and believe. You remember the story of the little engine that thought he could? He was going up that mountain, And he said to himself, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, until he got over that hill. And I believe in you, and I believe and know you can too. So there's a train leaving with your belief and your confidence and your iron will and attitude to succeed. And it's going right over that hill. All aboard! Thank you for visiting motivationmagazine.com. Stay green and growing. See you next week.